well on the feet. I think you
I do 50 of each, so it might be a little much.
Yeah,
It's all right.
I would like 35 minutes.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Good morning, how are you? Not yet.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
I know, that was one, this is one, I mean,
I'm good, thanks. How are you doing?
He's got like serious, just like making it happen. Yeah, like at work. That is so awesome. She's gonna get married. My ex-boyfriend's
Just out of bounds.
It's like, oh, and that's like, talking about that. I was like, yeah, that's why you're here. So cool. So cool.
So yummy.
I think this is an excellent It's also excellent
Oh, I just took a bite. She just shut it off in the middle of the song.
What's that? Good morning, Diane.
I'm gonna swallow her. I might spit
Yeah,
food out.
this one.
I wonder if that's on.
I'll play some xylophone for you.
Do we have it? Good morning, everybody. Thanks for being here. Whitney, is this on? Oh, great. Been eating on it?
Yeah, I did that last week.
Melissa usually waits until 9:15. So I'm just kidding. She'll edit. Yeah. Okay. Morning, everybody. So joy today. Who has some joy? I know there's joy out there. Yasha has joy.
It's good to be here. Not been many years.
You have joy, Drew?
Yeah.
You do have joy.
All right, where do I start? So a couple weeks ago, I had a couple things in my business that like kind of turned sideways, like listings that kind of weren't coming through, buyers that were all heavy but not coming together, changing their plans, timelines. So I got to this place where I was like, okay, like my pipeline is drying up. And I kind of retracted to this place of, what do you call it, scarcity. And then I was hanging out with a friend, and he reminded me that when I have that attitude of scarcity, that kind of blocks all that stuff from happening. And I was like, oh, right, I forgot. Just like I'll admit this stuff, you know? So I changed my attitude from an attitude of scarcity to an attitude of abundance. And that was last week on Wednesday. And since then, I felt like this whole shift in my attitude and my happiness. And since then, I sort of let go of whether or not that business came through or not. And of course, it's all started coming through. And on top of that, I've gotten like, I don't know, 4 or 5 like really good leads and referrals from friends and clients. And just by letting go of it changed my whole perspective and brought me back to a happy place.
Stu? I love that. I'm all about manifestation. So that's good. Let's see, tour today. Amanda?
I'm going on tour. I'm happy to take some folks with me. Our lovely music young girls going to join us. So this is a good way to get to know people, and it sounds like there's some beautiful houses on tour today. So let me know if you want to go.
All right, awesome. And let's see, a couple of announcements. Farhad, yes? Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you introduce.
I'm so excited. So, my good friend Farhad, Nancy, come in. I'm going to make you feel me. Hey, it's my joy seeing you today. Wow. So this is my neighbor and great friend, and we were in a business development class together, kind of mentorship, mentee thing. And in there, we had a B Corp challenge. And Farhad took it on, and so did our friend Cameron, and so all 3 of us are B Corp certified, and now we live together in the same neighborhood, which is so exciting. And he happens to own Green Drop Garage, so it's it's a B certified auto mechanic shop, and they're super cool. You guys get beets. Vegetables, and it's a smart car, and anyway, a lot of cool ideas that we do here I've stole from Farhad and vice versa. So please welcome him, and he's going to offer a special program for our agents.
Well, thanks, Janelle.
Yeah.
I think maybe some of you have heard of Green Drop Garage. Some of you look familiar. Like maybe I've seen you in the shop. Do I stand here or there? Someone was.
You're perfect right there.
Right here. Great.
Oh, good.
I got free coffee.
Got free coffee? Yeah. So we like to call ourselves the living room realty of car repair. So I've known Janelle for a few years, maybe like 5 years. Janelle was a B Corporation. I followed close behind. We're the second B Corporation car repair shop in the country. So we do everything from oil changes all the way up to like an engine overhaul on most cars: Honda, Toyota, Subaru, Volkswagen, Audi, BMW, Mercedes. So we have 2 locations, one off of Hawthorne and 9th, or actually Madison and 9th, right behind the Lucky Lab. We've got another location in Eastmoreland. We've done some promotions with Living Room in the past where, you have your get a cookie, and then if you're in the neighborhood, call me and I'll come hang out with you while you eat the cookie kind of thing, right? So they had that with the oil change. Get an oil change to come in the neighborhood, Janelle will come and hang out. And no one took her up on that offer. So that's kind of what we do. Everything from oil change stuff on up. We thought it'd be great to partner with Living Room because, one, we think you guys are awesome. You're also the Green Drop of Realty Company. So we thought a great promotion and an offering to the Realtors with Living Room would be great, along with kind of an offer to any of your friends and family or clients or anyone else you deem worthy of the promo code. Give it to them, and you're welcome to pass it on and hook up people. So the program that we have is, you typically go into a car repair shop or like a Jiffy Lube, right? You go in for an oil change, they go, all right, we did your oil change, here's your air filter, it's dirty, and here's this, you need to do this, and 20 bucks becomes 100 bucks all of a sudden. You don't know what you bought, but you just did it because you don't know, right? And we want to bring clarity to the car repair experience. So the first product that we decided to offer as a membership instead is we charge our clients $15 a month, and all the base level things that you get at Jiffy Lube, like the air filter, like the tires rotated, the fluids topped up, wipers, just making sure your car is on the base level safe on the road. We just do it on an unlimited basis. So you could drive 100,000 miles in a year, just come in every month, right? So on a $15 a month membership. We just launched actually on Friday, this previous Friday. This is more on a select kind of trial basis, but total car care. So everything from tires to engine to your whole car taken care of for 99 bucks a month. And you'll never have to spend another dollar on your car again. We take care of it all. So we haven't provided much of an offering on that level yet for Living Room Realty. We're just kind of showing where we're going. But on the base plan, we have some little bumpers that show you what we do exactly, and I can pass it out with these flyers. For Living Room Realty, we're offering that $15 a month plan, but we'll also send you guys back to work with a lift, not Uber, right? With a lift, right? Back to your Clinton Street office from our East Moreland location or our Hawthorne location. So we'll give you that kind of concierge service. So we'll send you there with a lift, and we'll bring you back with a lift, and it'll be on us. We have a code for anyone you want to hook up with. It gives them a free month on the plan. And what else did we do? I think that's pretty much it. Any questions? Yeah.
Hi, I'm
Hello?
Annette Fine, by the way, Maya Fine's mom.
I'm sorry?
Maya Fine's mom.
Oh, Maya. Oh, I
Yeah.
had a great conversation with Maya.
Yeah. And I want to ask, is it something I'd love to give closing gifts? And is it possible at the $15 per month? I mean, it's not so bad, like maybe kind of a neat gift for certain clients.
Sure.
Is that something that is okay to do? Like you can.
Yeah, we can set up a program. Like, we're happy to work with you on anything cool. Like, the goal is to give your clients something that's awesome, and then we look awesome because we're with an awesome company that provides clients awesome services, right? Just kind of like what you guys do. So if you have an idea on a gift, we can do a gift and we can kind of give a special discount. They're 1-year memberships, right? So at 15 bucks a month, you can tell that we probably break even close to a year into it. So we have to get that 1 year. So we have a 1 year up front that we can sell. We sell it at a discount. We can give Living Room a better discount to hook up your clients. Because we also recognize that anyone that you hook up, it makes you look good, but also you're giving us a client that hopefully sticks with us long term. So we want to show that appreciation for sure. Yeah, we're here to work with you guys. Anything else? Thank you guys so much. We also brought a couple of things. One is a flyer that shows exactly what we do. And we also, you know those, my assistant, my marketing outreach specialist, Jake over here.
How's it going?
He hails from Philly. Say yo.
Yo.
You know those hangy, silly, smelly trees you hang in your car that have synthetic crap? So we got a doTERRA girl to infuse it naturally or sustainably harvested Doug fir wooden drops. With
I mean, there's oil changes and then there's.
Now we're sold.
Whoa!
You were decide.
Well, I would have hired a marching band to go through here, but I heard that's been done. So, essential oil-infused Douglas fir drops to hang in your rearview mirror that will provide a nice citrus scent for your car that is actually not bad for you. So these are all giveaways we'll pass. You guys can. How about we put a pile over somewhere? You guys can grab them. We made like 50 or 60, I think. So I think we'll cover it all. Yeah, and we seasonally, of course, on what we do. right now we're giving away drops, but sometimes we give out veggies with your oil change. Kind of like Restaurant does free beef. We do free veggies with your oil change. So yeah, that's us. Do I hand these out? What do I do? I've never done this before.
We'll hand them out. That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks
So,
guys. Thanks for your time.
I have to say too, Farhad, do you want to tell us how you got into the business? You're an Oregon native first, let's say that.
Yeah, okay. I have time for that?
No, just real quick. But real quick.
So I'm an Oregon native. I'm from Beaverton. I was in a punk rock band, and then I bought my first property on Alberta, and I just realized I need to be a real. Wait a second. That's the
No,
wrong.
that's my
I'm an Oregon native. I went to college for. I was undergrad. I was a pre-med. I studied for molecular biology. I got out. I had studied and got my degree, and I was 2 weeks away from taking my test to go to dental school, actually. And I had a car that ran on vegetable oil. So I came back to Portland. I was converting cars to run on vegetable oil and put ads on Craigslist. Hey, I'll convert your car to vegetable oil for a couple bucks. And bought a boat, lived on a boat, and had a mortgage on a boat. And then I realized I needed to get a real job. Got a job at Hopworks Brewery as a busser. Made my parents proud, wiping tables after I got my college. And then, long story short, I was still doing vegetable oil conversions, and I had this crazy idea to make it into a business that was an eco-friendly car repair shop that converted cars to vegetable oil, taught classes in the evenings. Oh, we should talk about that later too. We teach car care classes in the evenings. We have an all-women's class as well on how to just be more empowered with your car and learn about your car. And did just car maintenance and repair. So all our fluids are low VOC, enzyme-based, re-refined stock. Everything meets manufacturer specifications, but it's just 85% more energy efficient to use our process than a conventional oil change process. So just like you guys, we live by that B Corp motto. So all our staff is paid well above the prevailing rates. Paid time off, health insurance, all the benefits that non-1099 awesome companies have, right? So I think maybe some of you guys are 1099, so I don't know. But we do, this is one of the offerings that you guys can get, which is $15 a month benefit. Anyway, so I don't know if that was clear, we started, similar to Janelle, it was kind of like this random, long, twisted journey. Lots of drugs, lots of. By stroke of luck, we just made it through.
All right, thanks, Farhad.
Can I stay for this meeting because I want to eat some of your food?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Lucas made breakfast.
Oh, Lucas made breakfast. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
The shop do body work.
We don't do body work. We do everything mechanical. And oh yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't tell you. So we have a sign up through Living Room. It's a benefit, right? So you guys have this benefit package. So Eleanor, I didn't see Eleanor here. I don't see Sarah here either. But basically, we have a spread. We have a list of who's on it, and Living Room will. However it works with you guys, but we just deal with Living Room.
We'll just invoice you guys.
So
you guys can sign
getting on that membership, $15 a month out of your thing, and you get all the base level covered, and you get to be a part of the Living Room Realty car repair. Thank you.
Okay, let's see. We have the bus tour tomorrow. If you're signed up for that, we're going to meet at the office between 7:30 and 7:45. If you show up at 8:05, you're not going on the bus tour.
You just spent $100.
You just spent $100 and you're not going on the bus tour. So make sure you get here on time. It's going to leave from here, yes. Yes. And we do have a couple of people on the wait list, so if any of you have now realized your day does not allow you to go tomorrow, let Whitney know, and she can probably hook you up with somebody so it doesn't cost you $100. Okay? And it's 8 to 12 on the bus, correct? Mm-hmm. And then lunch and discussion from 12 to 2, and it's worth 4 credit hours.
Here. Oh, it's here. Yeah. And I've talked to a lot of people who've been on the tour before. They went with their companies, and their companies had everyone go home because people were so deeply affected. It's going to be pretty emotional. So I don't know, just you might think about it. Just make a half hour for a warm bath or something at nighttime, or some time to reflect, a meditation period. I'm not trying to scare you, but I just want you guys to take care of yourself. It's going to be heavy, and also it's a lot of dark history of what realtors have been a part of for a really long time. But not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
The best in North America.
We're planning our outfits, yeah. I'm wearing my jammies.
I don't know. I was just
That's
in
probably
Chicago
good.
with Lucas, and he was like, "Really, really, those shoes?" I was like, "I gotta look good." What's that? Radar buttons?
I doubt it.
Off very often.
That would be weird.
Yeah, so we can wear our 5-inch heels.
Yeah, where?
Well, it would be, I mean, don't you think it'd be kind of weird to see this big bus pull up in your neighborhood and 48 people get out and stand on the sidewalk and then they get back on and drive away?
They start crying.
And they're crying. That just seems weird. Hopefully we're not. Isn't there a toilet on the bus? So we don't even have to stop for that.
I've done it once before,
Oh, you did?
and we did get off in Vanport.
Okay, great.
So it was years ago, but yeah,
There's one stop. One stop heals.
that was.
We had like a coffee stop, like should I bring
Yeah.
We haven't been sequestered for this long.
I know, right? I've thought about the coffee, the snacks. I think bringing your own coffee and snacks is probably a good idea.
I'm bringing a diaper bag.
I think I've made it till now. You know, well, now I know there's a bathroom.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, all right. Lark, we are doing a Lark. We're offering a Lark class on Thursday that I believe is also sold out. 3 credit hours. If you need Lark and you're not on the list, let them know. I think there's a little bit of there's a little bit of a wait list.
The wait list is not currently open, but you can let me know. Essentially, we fit as many people as we can get in the southeast office comfortably. So right now we're at 43, which is 3 above what we're normally at. But of course,
Oh, we can
everybody
easily.
else shows up. So let me know, and I will get you on the list.
Oh, and what's 10 more people? Whatever. If you need the credit, show up. Yeah, it's fine. Show up if you need the class. And so Lark, just so everybody remembers, Lark moves with your license. So if you even for new people, so every 2 years you do Lark, and then what's the other one? Ethics is every 4 years on its own schedule. It has nothing to do with your schedule. Yeah, it's hard. I know it's hard to remember. Okay. And then the last thing that I've been asked to mention is the Affordable Housing Coalition is holding 2 different opportunities to give feedback on the affordable housing bond, and where they will be determining which neighborhoods have the highest opportunity for them to help determine where to buy housing and make the whole building affordable. What? I don't know what that means. Anyway, I think you get to help decide where they end up putting some of these low-income housing buildings. So, Well, no, I think they're looking at a lot of different areas. So
measures to buy current housing stock and convert it.
Thank you, Brad. Yeah. So there's a northeast location. I'm not going to get into addresses and everything, but there's one up here in Northeast 14th at the church Wednesday from 2 to 4, and then on Friday downtown somewhere on Broadway 10 to 12. Membership services no. So if you're interested in participating, giving some feedback, being involved in that discussion, check with membership services and they can let you know where it's at. But it's this Wednesday. You can go from the bus right into the next thing, right? And maybe you'll feel really inspired to participate, or wait till Friday morning. Okay. Tour today. I didn't get a copy of it. It is. Thanks. I'll look for it there. Anybody have anything on tour they want to talk about?
I do.
Colonial Heights listed at 835, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 3,000 square feet. Really nice house, really nice block. Really bomb.
Ooh, look at
And
that.
it's on tour.
That is beautiful.
By owners.
I thought it was one of our books.
Like a buyer seller book?
Yeah.
Not
I
her,
was
not
like,
her.
oh, this is my own neighbor.
After you see that, Anna and I have something on Southeast Grant Street, so just above Colonial Heights, between Hawthorne and Division, 3504 Southeast Grant. It's a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 525. So it's up off the street, the garage, good value, great location. And we're gonna have pizza. What are your hours? 11:30 to 1:30, but it's vacant, so if you miss that, you'll see it anyway.
Okay, Aaron?
Yeah, I've got a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, 540 square foot condo on Killingsworth, 262530 Northeast Killingsworth. It is not fancy, but it is also $189,000. And it is available, it's vacant. I'll be there baking cookies, listening to music from 11 to 1. Come on by, say hello, and
Thank you. Let's see.
There's also a storage space in the basement. That's like a 100 square foot storage space, fully secure that, replicate, use that and all this stuff.
Makes it look like 1,000 square feet.
I'm saying 1,000 square feet, yeah.
Let's see, it looks like, Jim, you have a couple?
I've got a 4-square Piedmont, 25 North Bryant, 535. Really, really cool house. Yeah, she's got killer view updates, model kitchen, the cabinets, everything displays. Exactly cool location. We got a handful of offers in, we already did them this evening. And we've got 134-year-old built cottage in South Beaver. That's on Rover today as well, 3099, 2-bedroom, 1-bath. It's about half a block from the DCC campus.
Okay, cool. And that's open today, 11:30 to 1:30. Awesome. Is David here? Thought I saw him. No? Okay, it looks like David Columbus has 1834 North Willamette Boulevard, priced at $549,900. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath bungalow, and he'll have that open today from 11 to 1. Okay, awesome. Anybody else? I guess not. Huh? Okay. Okay. We didn't get our board up today for buyers in contract. Does anybody have anything really exciting they want to talk about that they would have written on the board had we had the board up?
If what?
If we would have had the board up? Any amazing deals that came together?
I've noticed like a huge shift in like writing contingent offers and how much easier that is for them accepted. And, I mean, I guess I haven't been here for a few weeks before. It's crazy how open listing agents are to it and kind of like dancing around. They're like, no problem. And I'm like, okay, great. So that's been really nice because it's just has people be able to not be so stressed out when there's something first.
We just came off the whole season of doing 800 contingent offers. Yeah. And then we just also listed a house that was subject to seller finding a replacement offer or development. So kind of a lot of that.
Anybody here, I talked to Chris Beck last night, I'm just kind of curious to show hands. Anybody here been involved in the sale of $700,000 and over this last week? Got into a contract?
Only through inspections, we passed inspections, so it was
Yeah.
880.
880?
Yeah.
Multiple offers?
2.
Two?
Well, yeah.
Jim, how
Both
many?
escalation clauses.
Do you have multiple offers?
Oh, 1 offer, contingent though.
We won a week ago, 1 offer, not contingent.
Yeah, he was just saying he and Tracy really noticed anything over 700 sitting but the city not moving quite as fast, so it's interesting.
I think that's pretty, happens a lot more too, isn't it?
Beaverton's hot. Yeah, it's like what was happening 2 years ago in Portland. Yeah, like everything's going, it seems like everything's going pending in like 3 days.
Really?
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. All over Beaverton? I don't know, like, I got something going on near Townsborn, and like every single townhome, they're like homes in their townhomes, they all are like pending in 3 days, and then I kind of looked around, and things are really moving way out there.
What's the price point?
380.
Yeah, this summer we had a contingent offer and they had to sell a condo in that zone and it sold in like 1 day cash and closed in 10. It's just, those townhomes over there are hot.
Affordable townhomes close to places people work.
Right.
With jobs, yeah, with transit.
With jobs.
With jobs in transit.
If you are being affected by Nike, the whole downsizing, I've got friends who work at Nike, and one of the new kind of CEO guy, I didn't understand his face when I asked him how are things at work. The following week I found out 250 one day, another 250 the next day. They were laying people off left, right, front, and center, and they've already gone executive level, so they're kind of getting down to, you know, the people that are buying homes in the mid-range, and so I didn't know if anyone was feeling that, people are selling quickly, okay.
Yeah, I got more right here. Because I was listing a house and the couple buying it were both Nike. And so I was just like praying, and then it was a contingency on them selling their house. And the person buying their house was Nike.
Oh.
So, and I knew the layoff was coming because I've got friends in Nike. And yes, I knew it was like imminent. And I was just like, if that guy is there, and it's just like dominoes from all these
People that didn't expect, they were not expecting it. These people were just completely blindsided. But yeah, interesting.
Property management had like 3 Nike people who got laid off in the last 2 weeks. So they at least maybe in a better position when they don't have to like liquidate and you know, but they're leaving town.
You mean you got 3 more new rentals?
Yeah, like they're renting out their house and leaving town.
Well, it's interesting too. I don't know, Paul, if you want to kind of just quickly kind of talk to that, what happens when you're in transaction and 1, you either get laid off, or 2, you don't get laid off, but you know that you most likely are going to right after you close.
Well, right, if they've been laid off right beforehand, we would find that out just through verification of employment. And we'd also find that out through verification of employment. That the comment section, the likelihood to continue employment, if they mark that no, then that's not a good sign.
So I've had a couple of questions recently with agents whose clients don't want to move forward because they feel like they're going to probably lose their job and they don't want to be locked into buying a home, but they're approved and they're, you know, and they're asking about their earnest money. And my response has been, well, if your lender isn't willing to lend to you, then your finance contingency kicks in. But at what point does a lender realize that, you know, other than if it's obvious, but if the layoff hasn't happened yet and they're not 100%, would you pull a loan based on what a client's concern?
I have one recently that funded that this borrower anticipating a move, but nothing's in writing, the job offer's not there. He hasn't decided to move anywhere. So it was a long couple of weeks, not so much for me, but for the agent who was dealing with all of these emotions of this borrower, not sure what to do. Into it. He's decided to move forward with it. He already owns the property, he was now buying a second one. And so the stress level, I think, was pretty high for him, but there was no indication on our end that his current job is in jeopardy.
That was my comment. That was a conversation we had.
Oh, that's right. See?
Yeah, it was more like, it was one of those situations where we have all documents that he anticipates he might get laid off, he doesn't know when, and there's no right or wrong answer. So
So it's sort of like you just, you just have to, I just gave them different options. And at the end of the day, I think, you move forward just for the simple reason that, it's sort of like, where else are you gonna park this $50,000 and get a better return? But it was most definitely at a point where I just didn't care. I mean, it's not that you don't care, but it's like, you get to a point where it's like, there's nothing, because it kept going from, the road doctor was supposed to sign Friday, and the road doctor was there, he tells you Wednesday. And it wasn't so much, it was this anticipation of went through different scenarios. But he moved forward after giving him different options. But I think a lot of it, and I explained to him, I said, you're going to lose probably $7,000 or, and I said, it's not like, that you going to lose your job. Your first money, like you said, is, going to be in jeopardy of other things. And it was just one of those things where sometimes you have clients where it's kind of going through the process. And, it started with inspection, and we got that done. But it was touch and go. And when it was done, somebody was, I mean, I've been knowing since he was a kid, it was just like, I think you have a lot of people in here too at the same time versus them not wanting to move forward. But it was pretty quality.
I think it's a good, I don't want to say red flag, but just something when you're talking with your clients in those first buyer meetings, and we know that this is happening with Nike, and I heard somebody say Intel, or was it Intel? Yeah, back here. So, just kind of talk to them a little bit about that and what that looks like moving forward if there is some concern, so that they're not like, what do you mean I can't get my earnest money back? I might lose my job. I can't buy this house. That's a bummer to be there in the 11th hour. So keep it in mind. Okay, let's look at our statistics. Living room stats, online presence. We had this month, we've had 29,629 visits to our website. That's a lot. Does it feel like a lot? It's not even the end of the month yet. How is that great math? How many is that a day?
30,000 divided by 20. 1,500 a day?
See, look at her.
No, something like that.
Chanel, our math wizard.
That's right. Someone will correct me.
Yeah, it's pretty close, I think. And then for our blog, our top viewed blog was Julia Robertson's updated Southeast Starter, 343 views. And second was Susie Mays. You're up there quite a bit, aren't you?
Professional writer.
Professional writer, of course. And maybe it was just the title that got everybody. Not your average bowl of balls.
When we first started talking to her about saving, she literally was like, I'm going to name my company Not Your Average Bowl. Because every time you walk in, you see these taped out. It's like celebrating.
There's a ball of balls. That's good. And Susie had 178 views. Let's see. We have had living room, $435 million in sales year to date. 8.3 million in sales closed last week. We currently have 111 active listings, 88 pending transactions, and our average days on market is 23, which is way below, probably about half the city average. A third, yeah. And the living room average home price is $472,368.
Average price is down from last month, like 30 or 40 grand, like quite a bit.
Yeah. Well, in the overall in the city, month to month. So I was looking at the last night, and we are seeing things dropping. The average list price in Portland in August was $646, and it's down to $630 so that's just city of Portland.
Yes, when I looked at MLS, it seems a lot lower, so that must be
Because they go wider.
Metro.
Yeah, it's Metro. They go Gresham to Hillsborough. We're doing just our numbers are just the city where we pull them from. And the percentage of listings with a price reduction, end of August, 46%, and as of right now, 52% this week. So it's no, this is city. We're talking about the city now. Yeah,
More than half now.
more than half. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And inventory is slightly climbing. A month ago we were at 1836, and this week we're at 1911 in the city. 1,911 properties are on the market. Average days on market is climbing. A month ago we were at 63. Today we're at 70. And over half of those, so when we talked about this a month ago, over half of those listings were only, I think, less than 30 days old. And now we're at over half of these are 50 days old. So, kind of changing.
Can you share this report with us?
I could. But then what would I, you'd know it, and then what would I say?
You need to fill up time. This is, you know.
Right. I mean, I gotta look at it, write it down, copy it. I gotta figure out how to download it. It's like a whole thing. Yes, I will share it with you.
We're going to need to bug Kristen Lincoln about her price reduction class.
Oh.
Yes.
She's the master at getting the price reduction. Because over half of the listings, you're having that conversation.
We could do that.
Skills, yeah. Skills.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay, and then our market action index, which we've been watching, that tells us how's the market, measures the current rate of sales versus amount of inventory. So, 30 is that cutoff where we go from a seller's market to a buyer's market. We are still definitely in a strong seller's market. There's no question about that. But if you look at this, so end of June, we were at 55.2, end of July, 52.5, end of August, 49.8, and today we're at 46.5. So still a strong seller's market, but you can see through the summer we've dropped 10 points. We're on our way to that 30 where it would flip. Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't, right? So, okay, draw that happiness. We have today, in honor of our Code of Ethics month, I think it's going to run a little bit longer than a month. I know you're all super excited about that. And I'm going to ask Janelle, because I know how much you love reading this stuff.
Yeah.
Will you read just that section of the, I know it was read last week, but do you see Code of Ethics preamble?
Yes. Okay, so this is just one of the many goosebump-inducing quotes from our Code of Ethics. In recognition and appreciation of their obligation to clients, customers, the public, and each other, Realtors continually strive to become and remain informed on issues affecting real estate, and as knowledgeable professionals, they willingly share the fruit of their experience and study with others. So, what better person to make this come alive today than our excellence chair from the Broker Advisory Group, Ross Seligman. Thank you, Ross.
So I'm the excellence chair of the Broker Advisory Group.
Excellent.
It's hard not to become Bill and Ted when I talk about this. I'll try not to talk about excellent to each other. So over there on the wall, there's all the values and what each one represents. So I just want to start by saying the excellence value is to achieve excellence through distinctive client experience and service. So I spent 9 years at Windermere before coming to Living Room. And Windermere had just like an avalanche of forms all the time. I used to joke that anytime there was a lawsuit anywhere in the world, there'd be another form that we have to have all of our clients sign. And I certainly don't want to do that, but there are a few of them that I've missed, and which I would use strategically. So I just wanted, part of what I decided to do with my project for excellence is to bring them to Living Room and have Living Room versions of them brought here. And some of you might say, forms are, that's so boring. Why is that your project? They are not boring, and I'll tell you why from personal stories of stepping in shit, which is something that happens occasionally in real estate. Two of these were sort of jokingly named after me at Windermere. They were called the Seligman Forms. And the first ones I want to bring to living room. They have to do with tenant-occupied properties. Okay, so I'm going to tell a story here about what happened to me. I had a seller who had 3 duplexes to sell. This was in 2009. I think it was 2009. It was really hard. You know, it was a hard time to be selling listings. And you know, I was pretty friendly with this guy, and he was like, I have 3 duplexes I want you to sell. I'm like, yes, that's great. I would love to do that. Once I got there, I saw they were all in not good shape. Okay, 2 of them sold, fine. Third one, not selling, not selling. One day I'm like walking past it, and the tenant comes out, and he goes, you're the realtor, right? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, come here for a second. I'm like, okay. Brings me down to the basement. There's water actually coming through, through weep holes in the basement, right? I'm going, okay, this was after a lot of rain. I hadn't seen it when it was raining. I say to the seller, Mr. Seller, you have water just cascading into your basement. Like, this is not going to sell in this market at the price that I really suggest that you maybe fix this or you reduce the price or whatever it is. So he says, great. Do you know anyone who does foundation work? I say, yes. Here's his number. Can anyone tell me what I did wrong? What'd you say?
You need to at least 2 or 3 referrals.
Okay, that's true, but no, that's not what got me in trouble. But yeah, what happened after that was he then called this guy. They made an appointment. Awesome. He signed a bid with him. Okay. I had nothing to do with it. I didn't even know that they met. Okay, I didn't know any of this. Right. This all sounds like normal activity so far, right? Well, what happened was the seller had absolutely no idea about landlord-tenant law, and just as we are the first real estate company ever in Portland to read the Code of Ethics, many of these people who have rentals, right, and Brad probably can talk to this more, I would imagine, maybe. For a lot of landlords in Portland, this will be the first time they ever read the Landlord-Tenant Act. So at the time, I don't know if this law is still the case, Brad, you might know this, but what happened was he signed the bid. I had nothing to do with it. I didn't even, whatever. The next day, the contractor shows up, starts banging on concrete. Okay? Now, the tenant hated the landlord. Hated him. Was looking for any reason to totally screw this guy, right? Starts talking to friends, because, this is like the 15th time he's complaining about his landlord to his friends, and one goes, hey, I've got this lawyer guy who helps tenants, So he talks to him, and the guy says, oh, you got to sue your landlord but let the contractor come over a few more times first, because in Portland, for every time a contractor comes over and does any work without the proper notice per the Landlord-Tenant Act, the landlord is liable for 1 full month's rent for each visit. Okay?
Oregon.
Oh, that's all of Oregon. Okay, all of Oregon. So he lets him come 6 or 7 times. And then, and I don't even know that. I have no idea about any of this. Then all of a sudden, the seller gets a letter from a lawyer, and then all of a sudden, I do. Okay, so I'm going first of all, this was very embarrassing to me. I was very embarrassed to get called into my managing broker's office and be like, well, this is a lawyer from a letter lawyer. I'm totally embarrassed, and I'm like, why? What did I do wrong? And he was literally saying to me, nothing, but it's exactly your deductible, and we would lose if we tried to fight this, because most judges are going to have absolutely no idea about how, the intricacies of real estate law. And is Erica George here? Because I love when she's here when I talk anything about anything legal, or anyone does, because I can hear her going, arguably. But so I'm waiting for you to start doing that to me. But they, what they were telling me was like, look, even though you don't have a property management license, you're not a property manager. In any legal situation, they're going to say, well, you're the real estate professional. You should have told them. So I ended up writing a check for $5,000. Now, here's what happened was before I did that, I called my seller and I went, hey, you're suing me. Why? And he goes, oh, I'm not suing you. I'm suing Windermere. And I'm like, no, you're suing me. I have to pay this. Like, do you think I did something wrong? And he goes, no, I don't think you did anything wrong. This is just what my lawyer told me to do. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Let me just sort of spell this out. Like he was like, I'm sorry, I'm just doing what my lawyer told me to do. Okay, that was it. All of a sudden, these two forms show up at Windermere. It's just like really wild to me because I was walking around I'm walking around their days like, what the hell just happened? And nobody there was upset with me in any way. Like everyone's like, oh, ask anyone who's been doing this for 20 years. Every once in a while you have to write a check, and I'm like, no, So, okay, so the first two forms have to do with any time you are selling a tenant-occupied house or property. The first, do you guys actually have these?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so look at the tenant-occupied property addendum. So I'm not going to read through all this. You guys can read through all this, and we might even have a class where we can go through.
We're gonna have a credit hour.
Gonna have a credit hour. Okay. And if you look at this, especially where everything is in all capital letters, like when your mom sends you an email and it's like she's yelling at you. Is it just me? This is sort of yelling at the client, basically this is really important, And you'll see throughout all of this, these things, it talks about two things. One, it's talking about, to me when I read this, I hear, especially in light of my experience, I hear two things. The first one I hear is, you're the landlord, you should know this stuff. And I guarantee the majority doesn't. Okay, I have rentals. I didn't know a lot of this stuff, and I do this for a living, right? So,
Boy, I sure hear a good reason to hire a professional property manager.
Yes, you do. Absolutely. Yes, you're right. Yes. So the first thing is and this has to do with service to the client, which is this is providing good service to them. Is look, I'm not a property manager, but look, by you signing this and reading this, I'm basically telling you, here's stuff that you should know because this could get you in trouble depending on how you deal with your tenants. The other thing that is really interesting to me about this is it talks about how much should be in writing between the landlord and tenant, as far as access and really in this business, it's everything's fine most of the time until it isn't that one time, right? But people are just constantly just assuming things all the time. And sometimes it's us assuming things, oh, they understand, we have an understanding. But I think that landlords and tenants, especially if they don't have a professional property manager, are constantly assuming things, right? And sometimes when you are the seller's agent, them assuming things can be in trouble for you, right? So this takes out all of the assuming by everyone, and it's just hey, here's a notice, check it out. So the second thing has to do with excellence, is being excellent to yourself, is this is fantastic ass covering. Because really, when you have these signed, nobody can ever say that you did not notify them that these things are important, that they should check out the Oregon, the landlord-tenant law, which brings me to the second one on here, the residential rental property seller's advisory, a notice to listing broker of access arrangements. So this has to do specifically with, they are telling you how they want you to give access, to allow access, and to what you're going to put on the RMLS as far as people coming to these tenant-occupied properties, right? And there's three options. If you go towards the bottom, the call first, and then on the other side, there's two more options, 24-hour notice ones. And you see, they actually should initial or check off or however you want them to do it. 1, 2, or 3. They are telling you, and it's totally their business. You've worked this out with your tenant. I have nothing to do with your tenant. This is completely between you guys. And in each of them, notice how important it said, where it says owner represents there is a written agreement with tenant on each of them or not, right? And it's who does that? I'm sure almost none of the landlords and tenants are getting these written agreements, right? But look, if they say that, I don't know, if they say that they had a written agreement, great. If it turns out they didn't, that's a whole other thing, but at least we told them, and we have signatures, and we have proof that we notified them of all this. Okay, that's the first one. I want to talk about the investigation and feasibility study contingency. This is an awesome form to use for when there is a big question mark on anything going on. Like, you're selling land, the person wants to build something there, can they? Well, like, you don't want to be the one that talked to the city or told, or you don't want to be the one to tell them, yeah, sure, you can do all those things you want to do, absolutely. And then they buy it. Turns out as they get deeper into it, they can't. Well, you told me I could build that thing there, right? So what this does is it gives really specific notice that it is up to them to figure out and go to the city and do whatever they have to do. And this is actually a contingency based on it. So I mean, it runs concurrently with the inspection contingency, unless, I mean, here, it depends. If you don't fill in the days, it's 10 business days. Your inspection period might be shorter, but this makes an actual contingency that if you have this now signed, where they understand they need to check out the zoning, they need to check out all these things, make sure they can really do it. If they can't, they can get out of it, get out of the sale. But again, so that's great service to your client, and again, it's great service to yourself because they can never say that, nobody can ever say that you didn't explain that to them, right? And then the last one is the opinion of value form. Okay, so we probably have like 1,000 different ways that we all give CMAs to people. And really, what does the seller usually want to know? They want to know like what the price is, right? And depending, everybody has different process for doing this. Eventually, though, at some point in the process, I want to be giving them this opinion of value. Now, this is like the range, right? The range that you think the property should sell for. But also, here it also has the purpose for it. And very importantly, at the bottom, at the very end, explains what value means and that it's not an appraisal. So I actually have a personal story about this one too. A client from years ago was getting a divorce and asked if I would be an expert witness to come to court and be an expert witness to give my value opinion of their house, right? I said yes. One of the reasons was I wanted to experience being in the hot seat on the witness stand, which I actually find, yeah, just in case, no, because those sort of high pressure situations are where it's so intense and everything. Like those are really valuable, I think, experiences in life, right?
Is that why you sit on the broker advisory?
Yeah, pretty much.
Thank you.
I found that less terrifying than standing up here in front of all of you.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I did that because that's exactly what it was. The entire strategy of the other lawyer was to completely discredit me, and they were on the attack. I mean, it was wild. Like, I'd never been through that before. And one of the ways they were doing it was he said, pacing up. I mean, it was like a law TV show. It was like pacing up and back and forth and like yelling. And he says to me, "Do you understand that you are violating something from the code of ethics?" He went like, Section 5, blah, 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 by even giving this, by appraising the value of the blah, 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 blah. And he's going on and on and on. And this was sort of his last attempt to discredit me. And then my client's lawyer went, "Ross, will you please read?" Because I had used this for this. I had given the CMA, and I thought, this looks really official. This looks very, very lawyery and official looking, instead of just like, here's a cloud CMA, and I'm just going to like scribble my price opinion, And that was, by the way, that was literally my thought. This looks all fancy and official. I'm going to put this on top. And I'm so glad I did, because if he's doing this thing and yelling at me, and my client's lawyer says, "Ross, will you please read the bottom paragraph here on this page that you gave with this opinion of value?" And I was like, "Sure." It says, "Value is my opinion of the market's indication of worth of the property and was not arrived at by any method of appraisal. This report is not intended as an appraisal under Oregon law. It does not meet the requirements set out in the Uniform Standards of Appraisal Practice. If an appraisal is desired, the recipient of this report should obtain the services of a competent professional licensed appraiser." And we were done. Conversation was over. And I was like, that was really useful. Wow, I wonder what other experiences I could have where I could be, by giving, where that could be an issue. And this thing just sort of made it not an issue, right? So, also, I thought this morning when I was thinking about this, I was thinking, I wonder if this would also be useful, when a client's asking, when a seller's asking you, you've come up with a price, you've given them your opinion, and then all of a sudden an appraisal comes in low. "Well, I don't understand, you told me this price that would ever happen. This whole thing in the very beginning explains that there is a difference between what an appraisal is and my opinion of value. Those are two totally different things. So that is my attempt to bring excellence to living room.
Thank you.
Oh.
And you only had to pay $5,000.
Only $5,000, yeah. Yeah.
Anybody have any questions for Ross? They will be. They're brand new, so we're going to get these. Yes, membership services will handle those. Sweet. Anybody else? Anything?
This is a little off topic, but I'm curious what other high pressure situations Ross has been involved in.
Just for the fun of it.
This right now, is, answering your question is high pressure. I'll think about that and I'll get back to you, Drew.
Okay.
I'll write a blog about it.
Okay.
Are you the person to talk to if we have an idea for a new form?
Oh, I don't know. Am I? Yeah,
Yes,
sure.
we'll talk about that.
I would. Yeah, I would love to. I would love to talk about that. Sure. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, filter your new form ideas through Ross.
I see. That is a good reason for the answer to be yes. Okay. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm out of place, but I wish I had that for our shop.
Yeah,
Really?
I know.
Repair may not fix the car.
I'm doing my best.
I think this is I put myself in a situation with divorces where I feel like people trust me, they like me, and I've not done anything close to this. I say it verbally, but this would have been really good to have. So thank you for bringing this news.
Everybody's so abhorrent to the idea of more paperwork and forms. It's just a really good opportunity to have that conversation.
Yeah.
And then you get it signed off on because you might have that conversation and then you don't have the actual transaction for 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
And then forgot. You're like, oh, remember? We covered this. And it's a good fail-safe for you because you can forget too. We're all humans. And one simple little mistake on contract got really major ramifications months down the road. And then you're pulling out your checkbook.
And our resident attorney has something to say.
But nothing about
Oh.
attorney, but just the same thing of getting the forms when it's a pain. We just ran into a situation, we were selling a house that Corey helped with the purchase 5 or 6 years ago. There had been a sewer issue that was discovered at the time and negotiated, and of course our clients didn't take care of it, and then were surprised when it came up and started with Corey and saying, well, can you tell us about this 6 years ago? And because at the time, and we sort of out of practice and know that Tari had saved an archive and done, sort of kept notes on the file and had kept important emails, and she was able to present them with the email that had discussed the sewer issue, and of course the whole thing well, sewer issue didn't go away, but this idea that Tari had somehow missed something went away, and she and I just had a conversation, and we've sort of gotten out of the habit as more things become just these texts and everything. We've sort of gotten out of the habit of documenting not every conversation, but important conversations, and then archiving them. So that kind of goes with excellence and kind of goes with just,
Totally.
covering your butt for a book down the line. You don't think it's going to come up, and we want these people as clients for life, and so it probably so we can pick them up. So it was a good lesson for us,
Eric, I've been getting in the habit myself, I had a meeting yesterday with Shannon and numbers were discussed and some other stuff, and I'm just getting in the habit now, sitting down and being like, this is what I remember agreeing to, blah, 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 blah. Because as things get busier, as we meet more people, as time goes on, I'll never remember. I won't remember, and then it's so frustrating. And also we're so lucky to have a system at Transaction Point where you literally can put it in your subject line and then forward it to yourself, and it just gets stored with your transaction. So you just put your TP number in there and get all your emails put away, and everything can be organized. But it just takes a certain amount of that remembering and the discipline to just sit down, jot it out, and make sure you're recording it.
So if I want, ever since we started using Iris, I've been like, ooh, it's Transaction Point. So
yeah,
that's good. So if here's the question, if I'm writing an email to my client about, repair negotiation.
Yeah.
If I VC the
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it goes right into the file.
Why would, that seems like, now we just need to make sure I get it,
Yeah, so I think at the end, like at the end of a transaction, to get in the habit of just going through and like taking everything that came from that client and just highlighting them all, forwarding it to that transaction point.
You're checking emails?
File.
And that's a great way, you don't even have to save it as a PDF or, however else you have to save it.
It's horrible.
That's a great idea. Or as you go, just copy, if it's an invoice, just copy VC the transaction point.
We used to create contacts that had the address and the email address for the transaction point. So you just type an address and you wouldn't even find that number. You automatically go there, you just type the address.
We did that until we started using Harris, and now we gotta get back into the habit of at least knowing the number.
Well, and the other thing too is like as a lead advocate of checklist, I always, when I feel like I've almost got myself in trouble, like done something that like I'm not doing really what I should be doing with my clients and what I would expect a realtor to do for me, it's because I'm not present and I'm not using my checklist. There's so many things, and it's just like it seems like a pain in the butt, but it is actually freedom. Like it frees you up when you have a checklist, and I have been off track, and I've been this past 6 months, and I haven't been using my checklist, and it makes me nervous. So checklists are.
Well, on that note,
So much.
Whitney. See?
Wow. Awesome.
Sure.
Thank you.
Erica.
What?
What?
Joy plug. A joy plug.
Give it.
A plug. So, I've done this once before, and I'll try not to do much, but Fun Home at Portland Center Stage. The previews started last week. I saw it on the first set of previews, and it's an amazing musical about a graphic artist who's coming to terms remembering her life in the 70s, which is fucking awesome. But remembering how she felt like she was coming out in college as a lesbian, and her relationship with her father, who was closeted gay and had to live with marriage, not feeling like he kicked him out, and her dealing with his death. So it's kind of got half super funny 70s stuff and then a really emotional part at the end. And it's got a really cute 12-and-a-half-year-old who happens to be my son.
What's it called?
Fun Home.
He doesn't just do a Jackson 5 dance, he also dresses up as part of the jam. So,
Awesome.
anyway, it's CD on Gold. It's just an amazing show. What's it called? It's called Fun Home. It won the Tonys the year before Hamilton won the Tonys. No one remembers it. But it's really great.
When is it playing, Erica?
What?
When is it? What's the run?
The official opening night is Friday. It runs through October 22nd. 6 shows a night, 3 matinees a week. There's a lot of opportunities.
Awesome.
I just got an email from one of the people that knew ways to get forwarded to them.
Oh, yeah, but it's great. It's really
I want to.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Ross. All right. Thanks for coming, everyone.
Farhad, it's so nice to finally meet you. I really can't pass it off.
Yeah. What?
That was like